Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Wild thing, wild thing. Who did Wild Thing? Well, now who didn't do Wild Thing, or who has done Wild Thing? Who's been doing it? But who sang that song? I don't know why. Tone Loc. Who knows Tone Loc? Okay. I didn't put any lip balm on Aries, but you know, it's okay. So I've done all of the other 3 cardinal signs: Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, and this one is yours. I think of the color red when I think of a cardinal signs just because cardinals are red, right? And a red color is one of passion and also initiative. And the cardinal signs are ones that initiate, right? So here we are. And I'm wearing a red carnelian pendant here, and it's one of my new favorite pieces. And I really do like the idea of having stones as jewelry. I just never really, I mean, I do, but you know, this is just kind of like a silver bracelet that a friend of mine got for me, and it's so appropriate because there's a dog pendant on it. And that's really all, that's all I want on there. I love them so much. Rumpelstiltskin was something that came up for me. I don't know why that is. And also, like, yeah, Wild Thing by Tone Loc. There was also something else. Can't remember. I also banged my shoulder into the wall, too, as well, before I was getting ready to do your reading. Anyway, Aries, so I think we have a new moon in Cancer, which is your 4th house. Hold on one second. That was 1 second. But hold on 1 second again. Aries, I just hit my knee too. And I have a blemish here, which kind of sucks. It's like, you're gonna remember that that was there, honey. You're gonna take care of it. Anyway, I feel like you may have to take care of something. Some of you may have even gotten a blemish on your driving record, but it's okay. Maybe it's like the first one ever. It is not alcohol because I am not like that. Okay, Aries, so I'm going to go ahead and get to these Morgan Greer cards on your behalf. Let me drop my shoulders down. I just finished working out. Well, it feels like I just finished working out because I've been recovering from it since teaching my class. But it was really only 45 minutes, and it was at 6:30 and it ended at 7:15, and I think that it is like, what time is it right now? Maybe like 10:30, almost 11. So like, I'm like, well, I just finished my class. I did not just finish. I'm telling you, it just takes a lot out of you, especially when you're like talking and there's like music going and you're like breathing and you're doing everything and you're saying everything. It's just very intense, and I feel like maybe you're exhausting yourself too. It took me a long time to get to, you know, a point, because I was kind of ready like right afterwards, but I had to like bring myself together. And then after I brought myself together, I was like, wow, you're literally gonna faint if you don't have anything to eat. So I think, what did I have? I drank a protein shake like it was, you know, meant for me. But then, you know, after that, I started feeling crazy again. But I'm all right. I'm cutting your cards now. But yeah, Cancer is your 4th house of home and family. So just like you, Aries, Libra is also experiencing some things with home and family too, but by way of Capricorn, it is also with career, just like you are too, right? But for career, it's Capricorn for you, and for Libra, the home and family is Capricorn, but career is Cancer, okay? So there's some things going on with that. So the cards have been cut. Now I'm gonna lay them out. Whoever spelled it dealt it. Okay, so This Six of Swords is talking about detaching from some reality that you once knew, right? Because it's a six, so it's related to the sixth house of Virgo, which is talking about compartmentalizing, breaking things apart and taking a quick analyzation. So you're doing sort of like a quick analyzation, or you're studying something. There's some sense of study here. And this is kind of like maybe even a change of job or a change of direction or changing your perspective. And you're willing to open your mind to making some sort of like new deal with yourself. In terms of like where you want something to go. Maybe you realize something just through your interaction, right, with a process, and you're like, oh, this is actually what it can be, or this is the there could be some hidden potential here, or there could be some like small, not small, but like these epiphanies that are happening in terms of how you are using your intellect to kind of navigate through the systems that you are sort of like cultivating or practicing or something like that, right? So you're like, oh, this is actually what it can be. Or you're like dealing with some changes and coping with them, and you're seeing how like, you can still manage, right, with whatever that might seem that like it's unusual, right? You can manage with the unusual changes that are happening, the unexpected changes or something like that. Just because this is Aquarius and it's ruled by Uranus, but this is Mercury being in Aquarius exalted. And Mercury is kind of unexpected as well, very busy. Okay, you're very busy with friends, or you're very busy with other people's kids, or you're very busy with, talking to people or networking, or you're very busy with talking to someone who's from far away or someone who is far away, that type of thing, just because it's distance, right? And it's Mercury and it's talking about travel, and Aquarius is talking about, distance and detachment, yeah? But this is kind of like something balancing itself out, and it's improving and it's getting better because there's a little bit of an understanding of where something is going now. You can kind of like see the beauty in like the process unfolding in a way that is now letting you see, giving you an opportunity to see something differently in some kind of way. But we're gonna go ahead and keep going. Let's look at the center. King of Cups. So you could be dealing with a water sign, or you could just be trying to master your emotions in terms of something that you might have been dealing with your home and family, or like with the mother, or this could just be like dealing with your emotional complacency, or dealing with your fears in a way that are mature and intellectual and that actually accomplish something. You're accomplishing something as you're mastering your emotions, right? And it's kind of like unforeseen things. It's just like things that happen that sort of like flourish as a result of something, So the King of Cups definitely wants some results, and he wants to resolve something that has to do with emotions, and may even have to do with a Libra, just because the King of Cups is literally 1/3 of Libra and it's 2/3 Scorpio, right? But this could be any water sign. It could be a Pisces, or it could even be a Cancer if you know one, right? But it is related to the Four of Cups, and it's related to the Emperor. So someone wants something, and someone may be emotionally complacent about something that they want that they're not telling, but someone could be feeling that they know what someone wants, or someone wants something themselves, right? Because the King of Cups could also be very self-serving of their own emotions, just because they master theirs and they know how to really like deal with other people as well, and to manage other people, right? I'm just saying. So here we go. And also you're having to control your emotions. So you're mastering your emotions in that way. So you might be dealing with some things, or you might even be dealing with an older individual, or you might just be dealing with someone who is kind of like set in what their desires are, or what they want, or how they do things. Someone is fixed in their mind, and they're fixed in their, how they feel about something. You know, you may not be able to change how they feel about something, right? And that could be the feeling or the emotion that they have mastered or that you have mastered, right? It's like, I've mastered that emotion. I've already thought about it enough, and that's how I feel about it. And this is what I want to do based on that, whatever that is. Anyway, so let's look at the immediate influence there, right? This is, you know, some sort of completion, right? Whatever you were kind of stressed about or worrying about a lot, spent a lot of time worried about work, you know, that's kind of like over, or you kind of like want that to be over. You don't want to be stressed out anymore, you know what I mean? And that's probably what's going on with this King of Cups being mastering their emotions. You're like, okay, yes, I don't want to be stressed out anymore. There's got to be a better way, or there's other options, or there's something else that can kind of like make the situation change. The tens are talking about an opportunity to seize, an opportunity with this ending, okay? Or with whatever it is that is being concluded or resolved. This is also learning from, you know, some past mistakes as well with this person, the King of Cups, right? Or the King of Cups could be learning from some past mistakes, right? There are some karmic lessons there. Ones that, and when I say karmic lessons, it's like something that someone had to learn through their interaction with someone else about themselves that no one could have told them to just know, and they would agree and then just be changed. You have to like go through these karmic relationships with people, and they're teaching you things, and they're not like meeting you and being like, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm gonna be your friend for 20 years, and I'm gonna teach you the lesson of this, that, and that. It's not like that. It's like you get in these relationships with people, whatever kind of relationship it is, work, commitment, friendships, roommates, whatever, contracts, all of that, family, that, all of it. And then, you know, things just start happening, right? Because people have their own choices, and people have their own responsibility to kind of like take advantage of whatever life brings them. So then you're affected by that too. Right? This is Sun in Gemini, and Venus is the esoteric ruler of Gemini, and also Venus was retrograde in Gemini, and it must be still there right now. You know what I mean? So what is bringing focus there? It's your third house. So this could be talking about, you know, maybe, you know, the communication could be getting better, right? Because the Six of Swords did come up there. So it's saying communication is improving, right? And this is probably the end of the block communication in a kind of way, because the tens could be kind of feeling like restricted or like, you know, blocked in some kind of way, right? Anyway, let's go ahead and look at the card in the past, the Judgment. That's also, you know, Pluto. And Pluto is talking about control, and it has a fixed energy to it. But Pluto is also a ruling planet of you. It's Mars, but then it's also Pluto. And for Scorpio, it's Mars, but then it's also Pluto. It's Pluto, but then it's also Mars, okay? But then you also might be even dealing with the power that a Pisces has over you, a Taurus has over you. It could be an Aquarius or a Libra. Those are secondary. And maybe third, a Gemini, right? That could be a Gemini up in here somewhere, where it's the power of information, or the power of someone's word, or the power of someone, you know, what someone says and how it affects other people. But then there's also something that needs to be like, you know, there's something that's trying to transform itself here. It's trying to change. It's trying to get you to see that you can let go of something that maybe you haven't let go of in the past, or you can let go of a need to have a situation be ideal for someone else or for you. It's like you can't control what other people, you know, what they learn. I don't know. And also, like, the Judgment card is just saying, like, this is the second to last stage of spiritual enlightenment. So even though it's tough, it's kind of like when you get to the end, it's almost like that's almost the hardest part. You know, when you're running a race and you're getting to the tape at the end, that's like literally the hardest part. It's finishing, right? It's getting there. Because you've seen how, like, when people are literally there, almost at the tape, you're like, just cross. They're literally falling to the ground and, you know, just ripping it down. You know, because it's almost like a point of exhaustion. You might be tired of talking about something, and you might be tired of thinking about something, and you're just kind of like, I don't want to deal with it anymore, right? That type of thing. Because the Judgment card is talking about, things deteriorating or breaking down in a way. And then it's kind of like trying to hold water in your hand or something like that. And it's like you're desperately trying to do it and you can't do it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like difficult to handle a situation, right? And it's kind of like trying to handle a situation is making you feel kind of powerless, and it's kind of reminding you of your weaknesses, and you're like, I actually don't have to be in control of this. You know what I mean? So it's like I can let go of whatever this situation is, whatever pain the situation is bringing me, or I can let go of whatever resentment that I might have towards what is going on here, because I can choose to let it go, right? Or I can choose to end it by just not making myself be a part of it anymore, by wanting to make sure that other people have what they need, perhaps, or make sure, there's some jealousy here too for some of you guys and gals. You're vulnerable to your weaknesses, or you're vulnerable to your desires, right? We are vulnerable to our primitive desires. We're vulnerable to our sexual desires. We are vulnerable to our desire for power. Okay? Yes, we are. And because it makes us act, or it makes us do things, or it makes us, just a little bit more cold, or whatever. It's kind of like sometimes when you want what you want, you're not really willing to like see why anyone else wouldn't want that thing for you as well, whatever that means. I don't even know like what that's saying, but it's a 2, so it's related to the second house. So I have, and what you have other people may want, or what you have other people may not want you to have, or what you have other people may be controlling, right? Or you may be giving people power over what you have by being too submissive to their wants and their desires, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Goodness gracious. So let's go ahead and look at your sun position here. Wow, that's a good one for you. That's the Magician. So this is the esoteric ruler of Aries, right? Okay, esoteric, okay? And it's Mercury. So then it's also a little bit of, it's Gemini, okay? So it's talking about change. It's potent change, right? So we're giving potential, okay? And we're giving chances for change. And if we're giving change, there's a chance. And if there's a chance, there's an opportunity here. So what are you going to do with this opportunity to start something or to begin something? You can set your mind, whatever you set your mind to is possible, right? So what is this powerful new beginning that you're kind of like trying to construct, or that you're trying to put together, or that you're trying to mix? Because this is almost kind of like a very like a card of alchemy, right? He's got all the elements there, okay? It's almost kind of like life is what you make it as well, because Mercury is very detached. It's neither here nor there. It's neither male or female. It is, life is what you make it. And that is, not with the restrictions, right? Because this is saying that you don't have any restrictions here. But some people in life have restrictions. So saying life is what you make it to some people is like inappropriate. But for you right now, I'm saying life is what you make it, because you have the Magician, and it's saying that you are not restricted, okay? I'm just gonna say that right there. Okay, so if you are complaining about something, okay, that is not really a big issue, or if you are, being a sourpuss about something, that actually you should not be about, then, you know, think about that. But the Magician is talking about beginnings and firstly matters and prioritizing as well. The Magician talks about prioritizing your strategy. Okay, so think about that and what that means for you out there. What do you want to know? What are you searching for? Are you looking for direction? Okay. Are you trying to imagine something? Are you trying to visualize something? And are you, putting yourself in an environment, or you're thinking about putting yourself in an environment, right? Or you're thinking about doing something that is going to get you somewhere or get you different results, right? Because the Magician is someone that has probably already tried, other things. This is just another opportunity to do something else, to make something else that is going to give them different results. That's why all the 4 elements are there, because it's like, well, what do you want to do with it? What do you want? What do you want? And also, there's the element of surprise as well. With the Magician. Ooh. Right? So it's kind of like you can come up with a strategy, you can have this new beginning, and you can think that I know where I'm going with this, but then there are also going to be surprises along the way, right? We already know that the element of surprise came up before the Magician with Uranus. 0. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at what's going on in the moon position for you. Yep. Damn. You definitely have a lot of major arcana here, and you have a lot of cards that talk about things being transient, as in they're going from one reality and going into the next. They're changing, they are transforming, they are also, there are some things that it's like you can't take it with you. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's like transfixed, right? It's kind of like it's stuck, but then it can kind of like go, or it can like change, or it can move. Like it's able to like be there. It's like able to be in that place that it's in, or it's able to always have this experience in this way, but then it can also kind of like change and shift within that experience that is also kind of like constantly stable and frequent enough to be kind of like the base or the home base. Right? I don't know where that's coming from. And the Death card also talks about your fears, and it talks about hidden things. It talks about little death sometimes, and it's talking about, power, the power of how your fears control you, And it also is talking about, your primitive desires. Okay, we're giving you that here with the Judgment card is Pluto, and then you have the Death card. So you're dealing with Scorpio in some kind of way, right? With the Scorpio, with the Death card being in the moon position, it's almost like the moon in Scorpio, right? So it kind of has like that fallen energy there. Someone is very emotionally complacent about something, and they are also kind of like they just don't feel good about something. It's like they know that they can't go back to something, go back to some way of living, okay? Because the death is like life and death, right? And then the Death card is talking about transformation, and it's talking about like something changing in a real way, because it's a 4, so it's kind of like a foundation is changing, or the construct of something is changing, right? Or the form of something is actually changing. So it could be the form of your life is changing. This could be, the form of someone is changing. This could be a gender identity thing too for some of you out there. Because, the Magician is kind of like the identity, right? And the Death card is transformation. It's Scorpio. Scorpio is talking about, that kind of stuff. Things that are uncomfortable, things that are kept hidden in the dark, or things that, people choose not to bring to the attention of others, but it's kind of like always a forceful thought acknowledgement that resides in them. The death card is also having a very powerful imagination, so your very powerful imagination might be getting the best of you, and you might be thinking the worst, and you might be feeling the worst. You know what I mean? That type of thing. The death card also brings attention to take care of your body. You know what I mean? Definitely. It's a 13, but it's also a 4. And it also talks about not fearing cycles, because life is in cycles, Okay, let's go ahead and look at the card that's at the bottom for you here in the hopes and wishes. And what else would we call this? The anxieties as well, right? Because your anxieties definitely lead you to hoping for something and wishing for something, I'm sure. All right. So this is talking about movement and changing locality, but it's also talking about working on a project or a job, bringing some of your ingenuity or bringing some of your skills to a situation or an environment, to a place where others can also benefit from them. It's almost kind of like teaching as well. So there could be some anxieties about teaching, or there could be some anxieties about like what you are thinking about constructing or thinking about making. You could be trying to talk someone into, wanting to allow a certain thing to be built, or allow a certain thing to just be worked on. You're waiting. It's almost like you are spending time working on something that you have a little bit of anxieties about building or putting together. The 3s are talking about multiplicity, and they're talking about, movement and things that are growth and learning things. So you could be having some anxieties about learning a new skill or doing something, that is challenging you, right? But it's Mars and Capricorn, so it's saying like you can do it, you can handle it too. It's just that, it's not anything that you're learning is not meant to be easy, because it's like you're learning it. Right? Doesn't mean that you're not good at it, because it looks like you are good at whatever it is that you're doing, because it's a 3, first of all, and it's a pentacle. So it's the materialization of something. So this is related to the Empress, and it's related to the Queen of Pentacles, right? Which is Capricorn. So it talks about effort and responsibility, and time, okay? You could even just be overthinking how you want to do something, or how you're going to plan to do something, right? Oh, you're overthinking a strategy as well, perhaps, because it's in the anxieties. But it is an exalted position, so it's saying even if you're overthinking it, you're still going to live up to the expectations of whatever this challenge was trying to extract from you. Okay? Let's see what's going on in your Mars. I'm getting tired now. You got the King of Rods, which is Leo, and this is, mastering your impulses, or being able to control your impulses, right? Okay, and it's being able to control your impulses to kind of like always take the position of I am the one who says what goes, that type of thing. Because the King of Rods can be a little bit stubborn, as it is Leo, about what they want. And, they just may be getting in their own way, right? So, don't let your ego get the best of you, as it will get in the way of the ability of others to see you as someone that they can trust, or someone that they want to be around, right? Because the King of Rods is almost kind of like a little bit lonely, because it's a 1/3 of Cancer, right? So it's kind of like, just be careful. Also, there might even be someone around you, right, that you're fighting with, because it's like Mars and the King of Rods, right? Just be careful with that, okay? Because someone is definitely doing their best. It looks like the King of Rods is like, you know, just being a little bit of a helicopter, like watching, like really being overly involved leadership, you know. But yeah, the King of Rods is also just a little bit insecure, or feeling there's something going on there. Like they just are kind of like, they're dealing with something personal here, and they may not be sharing it with people, and this is probably why their behavior is this way, you know, or whatever it is, right? Or why they might just be kind of a little bit like, yeah, whatever, yeah. Or it could also just be like somebody wanting what they want, and they're not really, they don't want to compromise, right? Because the King of Rods doesn't necessarily want to compromise. Okay. Here we go. Let's look at the Venus position. In the Venus position, yeah, it's the 5 of Swords, and this is Venus in Aquarius. And Venus is love. It's like kind of, you know, that one-on-one type of love, or that one-on-one sense of understanding, or a closeness, right? And Aquarius is not necessarily the one of closeness, yeah? So this is like, it's a 5, so it's my level of consciousness as to how different my relationship or with someone, or my affiliation with something is now, is a little bit shocking to me. And it is kind of causing me to rethink, and also be a little bit different. It's like someone's acting a little bit different, or you are feeling like you might be acting a little bit different around someone, you know? Or this could be just like someone said something that made you see them differently, or you may have even said something that made someone else see you differently, yeah? And this is also not being able to see eye to eye in a project or something that you might be doing with someone, because the 5s are related to the Hierophant, and the Hierophant is any institution, any company, any organization, or anything that, you know, people kind of like share together, right? Yes, and then the 5th house is Leo, so that's talking about creation and creativity and fun and games, right? So it's almost like someone is taking, it could be that the beauty is being taken out of something, or the fun and games, or the element of fun is being overshadowed by the inability to be on the same page, you know? So something is meant to be fun. I want you to remember that something is meant to be fun, and something is meant to like be enjoyed, right? And it's kind of like you just have to not overstep boundaries, because you have to know what people's personalities are as well, and you also have to be aware of you know, just who people are, and don't have any expectations for anyone either, right? Because Venus definitely has expectations, and you can't really trust that Uranian energy of Aquarius to always present itself in the same way, you know? Because the 5s are kind of like, oh, I kind of want to, you know, I'm used to that, right? That's like what, I'm used to something. And then it's kind of like, whoa, I got used to that, or I got too comfortable in my mind with that, or I just kind of like, you know, I thought the day would never come, you know, like that type of thing. I don't know why that's happening here with this card, but that's what it is. So let's look at your last 3. We have the energy moving forward, the future, and we also have the ascendant card, right? Let's look at the first one, Ace of Rods. So that's good. This is, you know, reflective, or referring, correlating, going back to, mirroring the Magician card, which is up here. So there is a action that is going to be taken, right? Or you're going to do something about something. This is also, you know, a push, right? To start something, or to get something going, right? This is that first you know, that first action, that first, what am I saying? The first step to something, you know? But the Ace of Wands is really great. And look, I have it next to this, which is a cinnamon stick. But look at it. It's so similar, right? They're right next to each other. But this is getting the fire back, right? Feeling energized, you know? And feeling also what, inertia, okay? It's also a change. You just need to set the intention, right? And really affirm an intention that you're setting with this Ace of Rods, right? The Pentacle will eventually come, right? But you've got to do something and you've got to start, right? You've got to start thinking, you've got to start prioritizing, and you've got to start taking, taking action in some kind of way in terms of getting what you want, because the Ace of Rods is intending to get what it's wanted. It's intending to connect. It's intending to do something. It's intending to make, initiative, right? Definitely taking initiative. So let's look at the future card. Here we go. Cancer moon in Cancer, Four of Cups, right? The establishing of a feeling, right? It's related to the Death card. They're both four, so you're dealing with Scorpio and Cancer energy of listening to your intuition, so there's kind of like a gut feeling here. There's something that you feel deep down about, right? And you're also kind of like thinking about whatever it is that you have been feeling down about, or feeling down about, right? So you've been thinking a lot about what you've been feeling down about or sad about, right? And you're definitely yearning for a change, You want, because it's a 4, to kind of really get over this emotional hump that you were experiencing, right? Or this is something that brought in a sense of emotional satisfaction for you, okay? Right, and this is a powerful shift in your emotional state, which is good. And that might even just be because that eclipse energy is clearing out. This is the moon in Cancer that's coming up in a few days, right? So I believe that you should kind of like think about what it is that you want on a deep level, on an emotional level, right? What are your desires, for sure? Because the desire is the number 4, right? Which is Aries, right? Which is the Emperor, which is also the Death card, because this is 13, so that reduces to a 4, right? So we're dealing with Scorpio energy. So there's something that you need to allow to come in and like transform, change, allow the change. Because if you fight the change, because you could be emotionally aggressive towards what it is that you actually desire, because you're resentful of not having it be your way initially, right? But there were some things that you needed to like realize, and you needed to kind of like figure out, that didn't have anything to do with you getting what you wanted. It had to do with you learning what you needed to learn. And they said period. And I'm okay. All right, so let's pull the last card. Work. Damn. The Magician, the Judgment card, the Death card, and the Sun. Something's changing. There's an opportunity here. You have new foundational goals, You feel renewed, you feel energized, you feel regenerated. There's a sense, you know, Pluto and the sun are here. So it's saying your identity, how you see yourself, even how others see you too. Because this is a 10, and the 10s are talking about how others seeing you, how others are seeing you. And where's your 10 here? Your 10 is here. Sun in Gemini. Identification. The way that people see you is changing. And you can feel the change coming, and it's kind of like, you're like, okay, I'm getting ready to experience this change that's happening in my life of things not being the same way as they always were. And even though I might be a little bit like, whoa, where am I going? What am I doing with my life? You know what's happening. You're just kind of like, I am embarking on a much needed change of narrative, right? So if you're not moving or changing the place that you live, it could be just changing the narrative in your life and not being stuck on that old sweet song. Y'all know that song? I don't know it. It's not a real song. It is now, tonight. Oh no, it's Georgia. Georgia on my mind. Just that old sweet song. Yeah. A change of perspective that brings a greater understanding of what life has to offer you that you didn't think about before, because you just were focused on your impulses and your desires of what you knew that you wanted. Like some people who know what they want, but they don't know what they can have or what they can get. Because what you want may not be the thing that is going to make you the happiest, right? That's why you gotta be flexible, right? This is also talking about being flexible too, because nothing is certain. That's why Pluto's in that first house. It's like, all right, you want to start it? You know who's gonna finish it. I'm a Plutonian, you guys. I have Pluto in my first house. And Saturn too. All right, work. Let me pull an Archangel Oracle card for you because I feel like you deserve it. Like Cardi B. I deserve it. Right? Didn't she say that? I deserve it. Honey, she deserved it. You know what? I started shoveling these a different way because sounds like paint falling on an air conditioner from the roof. Look, wait. That's better. Yes, I gotta do them face up. Face up. Face up to something. Face up to something. My fiery counterpart. Career transition. Your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. All right, well, you know how to do it. I'm gonna give y'all two. First one. Patience. Your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. This is a beautiful one. Very Victorian. You know those dresses, what prairie dresses that girls would like to run around in the summer, but you downtown though. You don't see no prairie dresses up here in the Bronx. The prairie dress, okay, everybody can't wear that. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm a Libra in the prairie dress. And the colors and the prints that they make the prairie dresses in, child. Now, if the prairie dresses were made in like a 70s, like, dashiki type, I mean, you know, because then they would be like cultural appropriation, because I haven't seen any girls that I know from back when I was in my hometown. I'm dancing around it. I've never seen a black girl in a prairie dress. But if there have been any that have, I want to see that picture, child. I'm just saying, the prairie dresses are not something that are of like the urban dress code. But I've seen a few downtown, and they are not cute. Let's move on. Breathe. Take several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken your energy and to release old patterns. You know, so you could just be getting frustrated. You could just be getting anxious with yourself because you don't feel like you are ready to release old patterns by taking a risk. Because the Ace of Rods talks about taking risks. The Magician talks about taking risks. The Sun talks about taking risks. And Mars talks about taking risks, especially when it's in Capricorn, to do something that's worthwhile. Because Capricorn isn't going to have you do anything that's not worthwhile. You know what I mean? The King of Rods knows how to take risks, for sure. The King of Cups definitely isn't taking risks because it's mastered its emotions from the past, and it realizes that when it goes off of the impulse that there are consequences, right? Because the opposite of the King of Cups is the Queen of Cups, and she's the Three of Cups, which is Cancer, right? But when we're thinking of mastery, you know, we sort of think about the lessons that Capricorn teaches. Okay? But anyway, I'm going off some 4th house and 10th house energy just because that's what I was sort of like intuitively going off of, even though the King of Cups is the 8th house, it's Scorpio. But I'm still saying that 4th house and that 10th house energy, you know, it's about mastering those emotions and knowing how to put them where they, you know, when you need to. Right? Put them where they belong. Because you can't plop them down or pour them out of a bucket into someone else's lap, honey. You need to carry those around with you and, you know, disperse of them and dispense of them when you can in the appropriate place, in the right places, in the right ways, right? Because your emotions are almost kind of like the water waste. You know, think of keeping your emotions inside, you know. And I'm not saying like you always have to tell people how you feel, but it's like being creative, you know, doodling, writing things down, drawing, painting, you know, listening to music, or just relating to, you know, your senses in a way, through food, through nature, through sound, through many different kinds of ways to access the beauty of the beauty of the senses and of nature and all of that. That's how you empty your emotional bladder. And also doing meditation and stuff like that too. You know, think of it like that when you're holding on to things. It's kind of like the bladder is swelling and you gotta pee, you gotta go. And then, you know, one day it'll be something that happens and you'll crack. And that's when you'll pee on yourself. Sorry, I had to make it like light and funny and kind of like awkward and crazy. But that has happened to me before on the train in New York City. It was really crazy. You know, that's why I don't drink coffee right before I leave the house anymore. I just don't do it. You know, but now that things have opened back up, I can't believe I'm saying this to you guys. But yeah, that's happened. Quarantine was fierce, and one day I was on the train, honey, and I just couldn't make it back. I tried. It was the worst. But lucky me, gracefully, no one knew. Until now, Libra. I said it. It's funny in hindsight. Anyway, I've been growing this mustache and hopefully it'll grow in a little bit more. I didn't bring the mandala out, but I do have some here. Mandala209 on Instagram. Beautiful, right? Very like water and air. And this one is very fire and earth. And by earth, I mean molten lava that is cooling. It's kind of like the black part of the stone is the parts of the lava that have cooled. Okay? You're looking into Earth's core. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it's kind of like the sun, right? I love that. I'm gonna do it. Stephanie Hymas on Instagram and Miss Discerning Eye. Okay, Aries, you know I love you and you're great. There's some things that are happening in terms of your career. There's some things that are happening in terms of like, you know, where you see yourself going, your goals, your foundations, you know, what is your next platform to jump off of and reach towards, you know, a different success story in your life, because we have many success stories in our life, right? There's not just one thing that you want to have or want to happen in your life. I hope not. And you've already had some success stories, okay? But just breathe and have patience, because you know we're all experiencing some changes right now, and you just gotta kind of open up your mind to like the possibilities that change brings and the potential. Okay. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment on the video. Follow me on Instagram. It's Providence Tarot there, just as it is on YouTube. And if you are subscribed, make sure that you're still subscribed. And if you're not, subscribe. And my personal account on Instagram is NYC If you would like to get a personal reading with me, email providencetarotkendrick@gmail.com. Bye.